This is Catholic Challenge on the Living Bread Radio Network. 16 teams will test their knowledge of the Catholic faith. Join us on this journey as we navigate our way from BC to AD and everything in between. Today's defenders of the faith will take up their shield and sword to compete for prize money and a chance to move on to the next round of competition. Are you ready for the challenge? Now, here's your host, Michael Roberts.
Hello and welcome to an all-new season of Catholic Challenge. Today we have two teams that will compete, testing their knowledge of the Catholic faith. Each team is playing for their favorite Catholic charity today, and whoever wins will earn $200 for that charity and the opportunity to advance to the next round. So we begin Season 3 today with Knights of Columbus, Monsignor O'Keefe Assembly 818, represented by Fred and Susan Kramer. And we've got the Tuscarawas County Elementary Schools, Catholic Elementary Schools, represented by Neil Kwasnika and Joey Burney. So teams, welcome. Nice to have you with us here. Before we begin our game here today, though, let's find out how to play. Here's the rules.
In round 1, each team will answer 5 questions. Correct answers are worth 10 points each. Questions are either true, false, or multiple choice. The contestants may confer, but the team captain must answer the question. There is no penalty for incorrect answers. If all 5 questions are answered correctly, the team will be given a chance to answer a bonus question worth 25 points.
All right, Knights of Columbus Assembly 818, you will go first. Fred Kramer, you are the team captain for the first time in Season 3. Let's play Catholic Challenge. Here's question number 1. Our current pontiff, Pope Francis, is a successor in the line of St. Peter. How many popes have there been before him? 265, 345, or 1,723?
265.
Absolutely right. Here's question number 2. According to Luke, what type of animal were the 2 disciples asked to collect and bring to Jesus for his procession into Jerusalem? Was it a colt, a camel, or an elephant?
A colt.
That's it. Question number 3 is true or false. A heresy is a formal refusal by a baptized person to accept a doctrine of the church. True or false?
True.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. Here's question number 4. Not counting the resurrection, considered by some to be an extra station, how many stations of the cross are there in the Roman Catholic tradition? 10, 14, or 12?
14.
That is absolutely right. And here's question number 5. The mystical body of Christ consists of the souls in heaven, the souls in purgatory, and the souls on earth. The church militant are the souls where? In heaven, in purgatory, or on earth?
On earth.
That is absolutely right. Well, that sound means you got all 5 of those right. That means we go on to the bonus question now, worth 25 points. Here it is. Judas gave back the 30 pieces of silver he had received for betraying Jesus to the chief priests. Which piece of land did they purchase with that money? Was it Potter's Field, Corinth Port, or Jordan Valley?
Potter's Field.
And that is a round 1 sweep. Knights of Columbus, Monsignor O'Keefe Assembly 818. You now have 75 points. We move over now to the Tuscarawas County Catholic Elementary Schools. Neil Kwasnika and Joey Burney. Neil, you are the team captain. Round 1 begins for you right now. And here's question number 1. From which part of Adam's body did God create Eve? Was it a rib, a hair, or a feet?
Rib.
That is right. Here's question number 2. True or false? Vatican City is the smallest country in the world. True or false?
True.
It is absolutely true. Question number 3. What relationship was Ruth to Naomi? A sister, a mother, or a daughter-in-law? Need an answer. Out of time. The answer there was daughter-in-law. That was the correct answer. Here's question number 4. The source and summit of Christian life is what? Baptism, Eucharist, or holy orders?
Eucharist.
Yeah, it's right out of the Catechism of the Catholic Church. The Eucharist is the source and summit of Christian life. And here's question number 5 for you. This female saint was the sister of Mary and Lazarus, the same Lazarus that Jesus Christ brought back from the dead. Incidentally, this saint is associated with cooks and domestic servants. Is she Saint Martha, Saint Anna, or Saint Dymphna?
Martha.
Absolutely, St. Martha. We celebrate her feast day on July 29th. All right. At the end of round 1, Knights of Columbus Assembly 818, you're in the lead with 75 points. Tuscarawas County Catholic Elementary Schools, you have 40 points. We need to take our first break. When we come back, we will introduce you to our contestants. You are listening to Catholic Challenge here on the Living Bread Radio Network.
St. Raphael Bookstore is a proud financial sponsor of Catholic Challenge, the one-stop shop for defenders of the faith. Their resources are geared toward lifelong and new members of the faith. Online at catholicbook.net.
Prize money for Catholic Challenge is provided in part by Ziegler Tire, serving the listening area for 97 years and counting, with name brand tires and auto service that you can trust. Find out more at ZieglerTire.com.
And welcome back to Catholic Challenge here on the Living Bread Radio Network. I'm your host, Michael Roberts, and we begin our 3rd season here today. Knights of Columbus, Monsignor O'Keefe Assembly 818 is in the lead with 75 points. Tuscarawas County Catholic Elementary Schools trailing with 40 points. Obviously, still anyone's game, but we want to take a moment now and introduce you, the listener, to our contestants here today. And we'll begin with the Knights of Columbus. Fred Kramer is the team captain, also joined by Susan Kramer. Fred, welcome. I should say welcome back because you were here for season 1, our very first season, right?
That's right. We were the very first taping.
Ah, nice. And so you loved it so much, you decided to come back and try again.
That's right.
All right. So tell us a little bit, first of all, about your Knights of Columbus Assembly and what you guys do as a Knights group.
A Knights of Columbus Assembly covers 7 councils in the Akron area. As a 4th degree Knights, it's the patriotic facet of the order, and we honor our military in addition to church.
And of course, as we all know, as Catholics, the Knights of Columbus just do such a wonderful job for building up the kingdom of God here on earth. And whenever a church needs something, whenever anyone needs something, of course, I think the Knights of Columbus come to mind. I'm a Knight as well, so it's very appropriate to be a part of an organization like the Knights. Tell us a little bit about you and your partner here, Susan. You share the same last name, so that must mean you're related, right?
We're related by marriage, and we got married on April 9th, 1988, so that's 29 and a half years. Okay. We are currently parishioners at St. Bernard in Akron, Ohio.
So, Fred, what do you and your wife do? Keeps you busy other than the Knights of Columbus, obviously. How are you involved in your parish?
We are both Eucharistic ministers at St. Bernard Parish, and I'm a reader at the 4:30 Saturday Mass. And my wife, Susan, is a Third Order Secular Franciscan through the St. Francis Cabrini Fraternity of the Secular Franciscan Order.
All right. Well, Fred Kramer, Susan Kramer, it's great to have you with us. Thanks for coming back, I should say also, Fred, as well. We move over to the other table now. It's the Tuscarawas County Catholic Elementary Schools, Tuscarawas Central Catholic Elementary School, and Immaculate Conception Elementary School in Denison. But Neil Kwasnicki, you're the team captain. They've combined the schools, so to speak. They're 2 different schools, same principal, so you're playing for both of those schools, right?
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about the schools.
The grade school goes from preschool to 6th grade, and then they go on to Central Catholic High School for 7th through 12.
And of course, a little known fact is our season 2 champions for the teen edition happened to be Tuscarawas Central Catholic High School. So you guys are following in their footsteps and seeing if you guys can bring home the grand prize just like the girls did in the last season. So that's great. Mm-hmm. Neil, tell us a little bit about you and your partner, Joey.
I work for the St. Joseph's Church in Dover, and I also work for the school. I'm the custodian for the school and the church. And Joey goes to Ohio Northern University in Ada, Ohio. And he's majoring in healthcare business.
Very good. And he's a graduate of Tuscarawas Central Catholic High School, right?
Correct.
And Immaculate Conception Elementary back in the day?
Correct.
All right. Perfect.
Yes.
All right, very good. So it's great to have you guys with us here. We're glad that you have come to play both teams. Again, it's really nice to have you. Our score, Knights of Columbus Assembly 818 has 75 points. Tuscarawas County Catholic Elementary Schools have 40 points. So we move on now to round number 2. But before we do that, let's hear the rules.
In round 2, each team will answer 5 questions. Correct answers are worth 15 points each. Questions are either true, false, or multiple choice. The contestants may confer, but the team captain must answer the question. There's no penalty for incorrect answers. If all 5 questions are answered correctly, the team will be given a chance to answer a bonus question worth 25 points.
All right, here we go. Let's do it. Round number 2. We'll begin with the Knights of Columbus, Monsignor O'Keefe Assembly. Fred Kramer, you are the team captain. Round 2 starts right now. Question number 1. This patron saint of musicians met her demise in 280 AD when she was violently stabbed through the neck. Who is this patron saint of singers and poets? Is it Saint Camillus, Saint Louise, or Saint Cecilia?
Saint Cecilia.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. We celebrate her feast day on November 22nd. Question number 2. Name the servant whose ear Peter cut off during Jesus' arrest. Was it Nehemiah, Malchus, or Titus?
Malchus.
It was indeed Malchus. Question number 3. Who are the spiritual creatures that are God's messengers and servants? Nuns, angels, or priests?
Angels.
It is, of course, the angels. Question number 4. Who is the ordinary minister of confirmation? Priest, deacon, or the bishop?
The bishop.
Absolutely right. And here's question number 5. How did Judas betray Christ? With a kiss, with a handshake, or by pointing at him?
With a kiss.
He betrayed him with a kiss. And that sound means you got all 5 of those right. Let's move on to the bonus question now, worth 25 points. Here it is. In what was Jesus wrapped before he was buried? Goatskins, linen cloth, or golden robes?
Linen cloth.
That is absolutely right, and that is a round 2 sweep for you, Monsignor O'Keefe Assembly. You now have 175 points. We move over now to the Tuscarawas County Catholic Elementary Schools. They have 40 points. Neil Kwasnika and Joey Burney. Neil, you are the team captain. Round number 2 begins for you right now. Here's question number 1. Church teaching on a heavenly liturgy comes from what? The Gospel of John, the book of Isaiah, or the book of Revelation?
The book of Revelation.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. Here's question number 2. What significant event is recorded in Genesis chapters 1 and 2? The flood, creation, or the Exodus?
Creation.
The creation story, that's where we hear it. Here's question number 3. The Second Vatican Council opened during his pontificate. He was canonized along with St. John Paul II on April 27, 2014. He was the 260th successor of St. Peter. Was it Paul VI, Pius XII, or John the 23rd?
John the 23rd.
Yeah, you got that. Absolutely right. Here's question number 4. Which book of the Bible records many of the hymns David wrote? Is it the Song of Songs, Lamentations, or the Psalms?
The Psalms.
We pray, we sing them at every single liturgy. It is the Psalms. And here's question number 5. When we help our neighbors with everyday physical needs, what type of work of mercy is this? A corporal work, a natural work, or a spiritual work?
Corporal work.
That is absolutely right. Well, you got all 5 of those right. Let's move on to the bonus question now. It's worth 25 points. Here we go. What is another word for the promise that God made with Moses and his people? A revelation, a covenant, or a judgment?
A covenant.
That is absolutely right. That is a round 2 sweep. Tuscarawas County Catholic Elementary Schools, you have 140 points. Knights of Columbus Assembly 818, you have 175 points. Well, we're almost ready to move into round number 3, but before we do, we'd like to pause and take a moment to thank our generous sponsors. You know, our sponsors have provided all the prize monies for our program, and we want to give special thanks this season to St. Raphael Bookstore, Ziegler Tire, and Ohio Catholic Federal Credit Union. We're so thankful to have these great organizations continue to partner with us to help all of you learn more about the Catholic faith. So thank you to our sponsors. All right, now on to round number 3. Let's hear those rules.
In round 3, each team will answer 5 questions. Correct answers are worth 20 points each. Questions are either true, false, or multiple choice. The contestants may confer, but the team captain must answer the question. There is no penalty for incorrect answers. If all 5 questions are answered correctly, the team will be given a chance to answer a bonus question worth 25 points.
All right, Knights of Columbus, you will go first. Fred Kramer, round number 3 begins right now. Here's question number 1. According to Luke's Gospel, Pilate became friends with which of his rivals during Jesus' trial? Agrippa, Caiaphas, or Herod?
Herod.
Yeah, Herod and Pilate became friends. You can find that in Luke 23, verse 12. Herod was king of the Jews, and Pontius Pilate, of course, was the Roman governor of Judea. Here's question number 2, and it's true or false. Bishops and priests, by virtue of the sacrament of holy orders, have the power to forgive all sins in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Therefore, it is actually God who forgives our sins. Is that true or false?
True.
That's what we believe as Catholics. That is absolutely true. Here's question number 3. This saint is considered the father of Western monasticism. St. Anthony of the Desert, St. Benedict of Nursia, or St. Peter?
St. Benedict of Nursia.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's question number 4. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called what? Saints, children of God, or prophets?
Children of God.
Right from the Beatitudes, Matthew chapter 5. Here's question number 5. What type of virtues are faith, hope, and love? Important, theological, or saintly?
Theological.
They are the theological virtues, faith, hope, and love. You got all 5 of those right. We move on now to the bonus question. It's worth 25 points. Here we go. 2 books of the Bible begin with the words, "in the beginning." They are Genesis, but what's the other book? Psalms, Revelation, or the Gospel of John?
The Gospel of John.
That is absolutely right. That's a great question, too. But that is a round 3 sweep for you. Knights of Columbus, Monsignor O'Keefe Assembly, you have 300 points. Tuscarawas County Catholic Elementary Schools, you have 140 points. And we move over now to Neil and Joey. Round number 3 starts for you right now. Here's question number 1. True or false? The Our Father is a summary of the gospel. True or false?
True.
No, the actual answer there is false. The Our Father is, of course, the way that Jesus taught us to pray, not a summary of the gospel. Here's question number 2. Be sealed with the gift of the Holy Spirit is spoken during which sacrament? Baptism, confirmation, or ordination?
Confirmation.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. Here's question number 3. Ecclesiastical law refers to laws found in what? The Old Testament, New Testament, or the Code of Canon Law?
Code of Canon Law.
It's the law of the church, the Code of Canon Law. Here's question number 4. This patron saint of chastity, girls, engaged couples, rape victims, and virgins, was martyred at the tender age of 13. Who is this saint, whose name resembles the Latin word for lamb? Saint Regina, Saint Isidore, or Saint Agnes?
Agnes.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. Here's question number 5. What is the last book of the New Testament? Revelation, Malachi, or Psalms?
Revelation.
It is the book of Revelation. All right, the end of round number 3. TCCES, you have 220. Knights of Columbus Assembly, you are in the lead with 300 points, but don't worry, it is still anyone's game, and we've got our challenge round coming up. But before we do that, we always like to give a question for you, our listening audience, so you can play along at home. And here's the question. The liturgical season of Easter is celebrated for 50 days, concluding with Pentecost Sunday. The first 8 days of Easter time are celebrated as solemnities of the Lord. These 8 days are called what? We'll give you the answer coming up. Go nowhere. You're listening to Catholic Challenge on the Living Bread Radio Network.
Prize money for Catholic Challenge is provided in part by Ohio Catholic Federal Credit Union, serving families and businesses with all of your banking needs. NCUA insured. Online at ohiocatholicfcu.com.
And welcome back to Catholic Challenge here on the Living Bread Radio Network. Before the break, we left you with a question. The first 8 days of Easter time are celebrated as solemnities of the Lord. These 8 days are called what? Well, we call them the octave of Easter, and really, each day is a mini Easter, and that's how we celebrate it in the Catholic Church. The same thing also applies to the octave of Christmas, the 8 days following Christmas Day. All right, we've got a great game going here, and it's still anyone's game. Knights of Columbus, Monsignor O'Keefe Assembly 818 is in the lead with 300 points, but Tuscarawas County Catholic Elementary Schools with 220. Here it is, folks, the challenge round. Let's hear the rules.
This final round combines knowledge and speed. The first team to ring in may answer the question. If the contestants ring in before the host has finished asking the question, the host will not finish reading the question. If the answer is incorrect, no points are lost, but the other team will have the opportunity to hear the question in its entirety. Correct answers are worth 30 points each. There are 15 questions in the challenge round, and in case of a tie at the end of this round, we will have a tiebreaker question. The team with the most points at the end of this round will be awarded $200 for their organization and will move on to the next round of competition. And the losing team will be awarded $50 for their organization.
All right, here we go. Contestants, hands on your buzzers. The challenge round starts right now. Question number 1. Who is the fallen angel who is also called the father of lies? Knights of Columbus.
Lucifer.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. Question number 2. What was the only event recorded in the Gospels about the hidden years of Jesus' childhood life? It is also one of the joyful mysteries of the Rosary. Knights of Columbus.
The finding of our Lord Jesus in the temple.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Question number 3. This liturgical feast is celebrated on the octave of Christmas. What is the Marian feast day celebrated every year on Knights of Columbus?
The Solemnity of Mary.
The Solemnity of Mary, the Mother of God. That is absolutely right. Here's question number 4. Chrism is blessed by the bishop at the Chrism Mass during Holy Week, typically on or near which day? Knights of Columbus.
A Tuesday of Holy Week.
Now I'm going to repeat the question and give Tuscarawas County Catholic Elementary Schools the opportunity to answer. Chrism is blessed by the bishop at the Chrism Mass during Holy Week, typically on or near which day?
Holy Thursday.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. Knights of Columbus Assembly, you are in the lead with 390 points. Tuscarawas County Catholic Elementary, you have 250. Jesus' Last Supper with the disciples was celebrated on the occasion of which Jewish feast day? Knights of Columbus.
The Passover.
It is Passover. That is absolutely right. Question number 7. What is the major penitential season of the liturgical year? Knights of Columbus.
Lent.
Yeah, you got it. Here's question number 8. Where did Jesus work his first miracle, according Knights of Columbus?
At the wedding feast of Cana.
John chapter 2 tells us the wedding feast of Cana. Question number 9. What saintly woman replied, "After death, I will drop down a shower of roses"? Knights of Columbus.
St. Teresa of Lisieux.
The little flower, of course. Question number 10. The Jewish Sabbath is literally what day of the week? TCC.
Saturday.
That is absolutely right. Knights of Columbus, you're in the lead with 510. TCC, you have 280. Here we go. Question number 11. Spiritual, non-corporal beings are called what in the Bible? TCC.
Angels.
That is absolutely right. Question number 12. There are how many mysteries remembered if one prays the entire rosary? Knights of Columbus.
20.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. Question number 13. Which commandment is, "You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain"? TCC.
2.
The second commandment. Absolutely right. Question number 14. What is the ornate vessel in which the Blessed Sacrament is exposed? TCC.
The monstrance.
The monstrance is where the Blessed Sacrament is exposed for public veneration. And here's question number 15. At what event was Mary's consent of faith first evident according to the scriptures in Luke? Knights of Columbus.
At the Annunciation.
Luke chapter 1, when the angel Gabriel came upon her. And that is our game. Congratulations to the Knights of Columbus Monsignor O'Keefe Assembly 818. You have now moved on to the next round and have won $200 for your assembly. We have 570 for you. Tuscarawas Central Catholic Elementary School, you have 370. Thanks to Neil Kwasnika and Joey Burney for being with us. A donation of $50 will be given to the Catholic elementary schools in Tuscarawas County on your behalf. Special thanks also to our sponsors, Ziegler Tire, St. Raphael Bookstore, and Ohio Catholic Federal Credit Union, whose generous support provides our prize money. I'm Michael Roberts, and until next time, do your part and defend the faith. We'll see you next week for another edition of Catholic Challenge, right here on the Living Bread Radio Network.
This has been another edition of Catholic Challenge, a production of the Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio. If you'd like to be a part of the program, email quiz@livingbreadradio.com. For an audio archive of this show, or to view the current brackets, go to livingbreadradio.com and join us next time for another edition of Catholic Challenge.